Okay, so we're gonna do a quick demo on FastCMA and off-market leads. Let's do the FastCMA first. So here you can enter your login credential and log in. When you log in, on the upper right corner is a support button where you can go and see a lot of the training videos that we have recorded. There's also a support form you can use to let us know how we can help you in terms of customer support. And on the left, you can see the menu with all kinds of videos. We have a short FastCMA tutorial video. We have the rehab budget calculator and exit strategy calculator along with the files. So we got the training videos here along with the files that you can use. MLS Deal Finder is the video about how to use MLS Deal Finder, the tool. Then we also have a lot of advanced training here that we have accumulated. It's basically our knowledge bank on some of the advanced uses of how to for real estate investment in general, but also there's some fundamental knowledge as well, such as how to run comps and all that. And we just added recently the short sales video, and we're going to continue to add more knowledge in here as time goes on. There's also FAQ, which is the frequently asked questions about how to use the system. So let me go back to here with FastCMA. Just want to do a quick demonstration. So here you can enter an address. Let me actually use something else. So let me just go in our off-market leads that are being sent out daily, and I'm going to pick a property that's in the foreclosure list and use that as an example to do the comps. For this demonstration purpose, I'm going to use a property in the DFW area. So let me click here. So once the information starts loading, I can get the information. So here I want to get the address. So let's pick this one in 7113 Stephanie Court. So you can see that it actually auto populates for you. This tool is powered by Google, so it's very fast. First thing you do is click lookup, and then it's going to ask you to enter a few additional information about the property, which we will. And on the right side is where we're selecting the comps. We're setting the criteria on what are the right comps we're going to use. So to fill out the information back on the left, we need the year bill and all this stuff. So I got it here. Year bill is 1999, and the square footage is 990 square feet. Let me make sure we're at the right one, and it is. Okay, so 990 square feet and 1999, right? I'll make sure my short-term memory works here. Yes. Okay, and then it's also going to ask for what the asking price is. So when we created this tool, the asking price is in reference to, let's say we're getting a deal from a wholesaler. We want to see how good their asking price is or how good their ARV is. In this case, as reference, I'm going to use the tax appraisal value here. On the right, we're setting the criteria, and I'm going to just leave it as the default value here. And I'm going to click count to see how many comps there are. Okay, so if the comp, so you know, it all depends on the data that are available, the sold data that are available. Sometimes with the default value, you might be able to find a lot of comps. In this case, you can narrow down your criteria and get really good comps. In other cases, there's no comp by the default, so we have no choice but to bring out the distance or any of the criteria that you like to use, and we can click count again. and still no comps. So we didn't pick a very good example. Let me just go out all the way to 1 mile and maybe bring out the square footage, or excuse me, the year built. Now we can pull one sold comp, and very interestingly, we can see 11 lease comps. So that's starting to tell me that this might be more of a rental area than a buy and sell or retail area. Let me see if I bring out to 30% and if it brings out more. So you can play around with it. That's kind of the bottom line. And depending on what kind of sold data we have available, and again, the database is mirror 100% to your local MLS. And so we can use that and click. If we like the numbers we're seeing, typically I want 3 to 4 comps to have a good number. But for this example, let's just say we want to run the CMA. I'll click run, and then this link shows up. Click on this, and it's going to bring up the CMA for me. Now it's really cool because this CMA that's run, it actually would give me a couple of things. It would give me a sold, active, leased, and non-active. So it gives me 4 CMAs, and I can toggle between each button to see different comps. Right now we're looking at the sold comp, and we're looking at the data view where I can see all the information. Okay, and we can kind of go over each of these to understand more about the property itself, along with the comps that are being used. We show you all the remarks of the comps, so you can see all the information here. You can, a lot of times on the remarks, you can tell if the house is a investment property, and if you're trying to get the after repair value, which is the ARV, you don't want to pick those comps.
Hey, Stephen, when you were back on the other screen, why were you hitting? Why didn't you hit CM or comp versus? I forget. It was this button in the middle. You were hitting that one versus one to the right of it.
Are you talking about the previous screen right here?
Yes. Yeah, you were hitting count versus run CMA. Why?
The reason is if there's not a lot of CMAs and I hit run CMA, there's not a lot of comps, and I hit run CMA, it's not going to yield a lot of the good results for me. So I want to adjust and play around with the criteria until I get the number of comps that I like, so that I would be more effective when I actually run the CMA. So for example, sometimes with your criteria, if it pulls 20 comps, right, that's definitely too much for us to digest. And also, and it actually gives us the opportunity to be very, very picky with the criteria. Because ideally, I want a house to be cookie cutter houses, and I want the comps to be right next to the subject property that I'm looking at. So if I have a lot of choices, then I can really, really narrow down some of this criteria. So when I actually run the CMA, it can pull me really, really, really good comps, really high quality comps. So I like using count because it tells me how many there are available. So that helps me with the next step a lot better.
Okay.
So this is kind of the tool that helps us be more effective with our time. So that's a very good question. Thank you. So kind of going back here, anytime you see an underline, there's more information. Okay, so we give you a lot of information. We download a lot of information from the MLS for you to do the analysis. The checkboxes here it allows you to change the comps. And when you change the comps, I can click on recalculate CMA, and it'll give me a new estimated price. And that's useful because when we're doing our own CMAs or doing our own comps, we want to insert our own opinion. And so this lets me customize and pick and choose which comps to use.
So, okay, so wait a minute. Explain that one more time to me. Go over that. You selected that, and then you said you hit estimate price, or something like that.
Yeah. So look at this. The estimated price right now is $136,000, and that's based on this guy with the checkbox, number 2, and it has $137 per square feet. If I do decide to add back number 1, and I click recalculate CMA, you're gonna see the estimated price change. So let me do that. And now it changes to 112,000. It's basically calculated by taking the average of all the comps, price per square footage, and multiplying it by the subject property's number of square footage.
Okay.
As you pick and choose and kind of fine tune the comps that you want to use, you're gonna have different estimated prices. For example, right, some folks really want high-end rehabs. So when you're picking the comps with these checkboxes, you're gonna want to only pick the comps that are high-end rehabs, versus say another person that only want a house that's rent ready in condition. Then they're gonna pick the comps that are rent ready. So, it could be the same house and we might have different ARVs because your after repair and my after repair is very different. So, you can take into account of a lot of that condition. And that's actually a very good segue for us to go to the next couple of views, especially for photo. But before I go there, I want to show you the map view, which is showing you where all the properties are. Okay, so the black house here is the subject property, and these are the comps, number 1 and number 2. And it's actually very useful if there's a lot of transactions in the area. We're going to see exactly where they are. And these is color coded too. So if I take off number 1 again for this demonstration and click recalculate CMA, you're going to see that the color are different. So the one that has a checkbox next to it is red, and the one that doesn't have a checkbox checked is green. So if there's a lot of transactions, let's say 10 transactions in the area, and I'm only using 3 or 4 as to come up with my estimated price here, the color coding is going to help me decide one or the other, or it's going to help me tell which one are being used to come up with a valuation. On the upper left, you can pick different views, like I can do satellite view, I can do a terrain and all that cool stuff, or I can go back to the map view. This is useful, I think, when in area with a little more terrain, like let's say Austin or San Antonio area. In Dallas, most of the area is pretty flat. Same thing for Houston. But at least when you do satellite, you can also see where the green area is. So that gives us another dimension or another angle to look at the information. And on the lower right corner, you can also do a street view. So you can virtually tour the neighborhood without needing to drive there. Especially just doing from a preliminary standpoint, right? We're just trying to look at the deal. It doesn't warrant driving there yet. Okay, so that's the map view. And then the same thing for photo view. Okay, this is the one of the most popular features because we're showing you all the pictures that are all on the same page. So you just need to hover your mouse over each of the picture, and you can get a very good idea to kind of scan the condition of the property. That feature will save you 5-10 minutes very easy. You don't have to do one click at a time when you're looking at the pictures. And let me show you, because I know that there are 11 lease comps. Let's look at the lease comp and look at all the pictures. That a lot of times is what really demonstrates the power of this feature, because it helps you remember which house has what kind of pictures. So based on that, you can go, hey, I don't like number 5. I really just want the ones that have the nicest amenities and marble countertop and all that stuff. So you can kind of go back and only pick the ones that have the condition that you want, right? And then I can click on the calculator again, and it's going to give me a different estimated monthly lease in this case, right? Because we're looking at the rental comp. So you see it changed from 900 something to 1,000. Right, so the whole idea with FastCMA and all these views is so that you can digest the information very quickly, and you can come up with your analysis within 2 to 3 minutes. based on how we're structuring the information for you to make a very, very quick decision. So that's FastCMA. Any questions? Alvar, you had two very good questions earlier for me.
Well, yeah. So I know that you're doing these based on just arbitrary, arbitrary listings. First of all, with the foreclosure, where are you pulling that data from, and how relevant, how current is that data?
Cool. Absolutely. Okay, so let's that's a great segue to talk about the off-market leads. So these are an email that you get on a daily basis, and it's updated every day. So from a pre-foreclosure standpoint, you always get 2 months. So right now is the November list, and also in some counties, the December auction is also being uploaded by the courthouse. So we record all that and we give that to you as well. So it's updated to the day. If it was updated yesterday, we're gonna have it for you today. The same thing for probate and heirship. If it was filed yesterday at the courthouse, we're gonna have it today. Same thing for tax sale, evictions, and liens. So these are all the off-market motivated sellers that we provide for you right now. And the tax sale is actually new. We introduced it from the very, very beginning when we started it. There wasn't as much demand at the time, but now there's a lot of demand for tax sale. So we are adding this, and this is new. We actually just started it this week.
Right, but when I'm asking, okay, but specifically when it comes to pre-foreclosure, you know,
Let's look at the pre-foreclosure.
yeah. So obviously, we get a list now from a list service provider,
Sure.
and it's pretty detailed, right? How detailed is your information?
It's very detailed. I think it's probably as good as any list out there. So let's look at it right now because, yeah, I understand where your question comes from. So this is the first column, right? You can see which county it's from, the mortgagor information, the address and the city of the property. If the bedroom and bathroom information are available, we have it here as well. Square footage, garage, and then we have the trustee information, the mortgagee bank information, and then we also do all kinds of research based on how much loan they originally took out and when they took it out. Kind of do the calculation to see what the estimated unpaid balance is for the loan. Okay, again, it's estimated, right? We're just doing an amortization kind of formula. And based on that and comparing to the tax appraisal value, we can see if the house has any equity on the property. And so you can filter it out by equity
Okay.
and kind of go from there. Let's look at more. So the loan information, if it's available, we have it here. The loan type. If there's loan mod, we'll put the loan mod information here. Loan expiration date is here. Instrument number, legal description, and subdivision. Okay, any kind of additional stuff, we put it under the comment section. So there is a lot of we're going very detailed in terms of research.
Okay.
Now that we are looking at every list, let me just kind of show you everything. So probates. So probates, we have two tabs. One is on the probate of will filing, and the other one is the heirship. And starting this month, we were updating every day, but now I only show you the daily filings. But right now, we're actually going to show you all the filings as of this month. So it's October right now. We're going to give you everything that has been around here, and then for November, we're going to start a new file with all the filings that are in November, and we're going to keep track of all of that. So for this, you get the case number, what kind of document type, the decedent information, property information, the tax appraisal value, the grantee information, mailing address of the grantees, and then we also give you the attorney information. We give you their phone number and email address if they're available as well.
Okay.
And pretty much similar for heirship. The only thing with heirship is just that sometimes these properties have multiple heir situation, right? And so we show you some additional information like the relationship, and then everybody have their own. Sometimes would have their own mailing address, and so we give you all that. And again, we give you the attorney information as well if they're available. So that's probate and heirship. Tax sale. Like I said, we just started this again this month, this week, and so these are the information that we give you: auction date, minimum bid, the adjusted value, and so on and so forth. It's still in beta, so any kind of feedback we would welcome because we want to continue to improve the list. All the information that you're seeing in the probates and the pre-foreclosures, we have received several months worth of feedback from almost 6 months worth of feedback from our clients. So we feel these two lists are pretty solid. Same thing for eviction and liens.
Okay.
So evictions, we're trying to target the tire landlords, right? And so here you get. Let me shrink this. Have to wait for this to load a little bit. You might want to ignore the September ones. Those are still in beta, and we still had a lot of apartment information. But starting in October, we have eliminated all that information. So you can see like the landlord information, the address of the land. Sometimes you see that the landlord is an LLC, or like they have a PO box address or whatnot. That's all in the eviction filing. And then you see the tenant information, and most importantly, it's the property address, right? So we can pull comps on the property address, and then we'll provide the appraisal value as well if they're available. And then finally is the liens. We do 3 types of liens. It's hospital liens, HOA liens, and mechanics liens. Each lien type has different merits and different kind of strategies, but we mine all that information for you. And again, we give you all the case numbers so you can refer back to them. And the most important thing is the property address and the owner information, because all these liens is a signal of potential distress, financial distress. So we give you the assessed value, and if the lien actually has an amount to it, we will give you that information too. So that's very helpful, and that's kind of pretty new added, I believe, this month. And then we also added the homestead exemption column, also based on the feedback. So
Okay.
that's all the off-market leads that we have at the moment as of end of October.
Okay. And so those not homesteads, but the liens, how often is that updated?
Everything is updated daily, Alva. We have 10 full-time researchers right now, and we are fixing into adding some more because we're looking at more sources, right? I'm not going to tell you what they are right now because I don't want you to purchase based on the future. I want you guys to sign up because of what we offer you right now. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording here and